Hey, Got Fox here. Today, we're gonna fact check me. Well, not fact check, predict checked me. The sponsor today are orchestra conductors and their tempo tantrums. So, throughout the summer, I did various ratings on various players for what I thought they'd be through the upcoming year. As you see on your screen now, we have quarterbacks. I didn't get through all the positions before EA started releasing overalls, but I did get through quite a few, so we'll review them. As you see on the left are my predictions for what the ratings would be, and on the right are what they actually ended up being. So here for quarterbacks, we both nailed Aaron Rodgers at the top. I think my biggest downfall for quarterbacks here, I rated Roethlisberger a little too high, same with Romo, and Andrew Luck low. But overall, I feel like I nailed the ratings here. I mean, they all match up basically one for one with the exception of a couple of them. And as I said in the video with the quarterback ratings, they were the easiest to do. Okay, let's move on to defensive tackles. And with these defensive tackles, let me preface this by saying the ratings on the left, my ratings, are based on MUT 15 ratings. I didn't change it for MUT 16. So MUT 16 obviously had different ratings than MUT 15. So that's why the overalls are different. But we'll take a look at the order. I had Gerald McCoy and Ndamukong Suh tied for the number one at 89. But EA had Gerald McCoy go down one overall from Suh. So I had him, tied based on the 15 ratings. But anyways, problems with my defensive tackle ratings as I look through it. Jurrell Casey's actually a right end in MUT 16, so that could be an issue with the ratings. I was a little low on Poe and Lotuloi. They had down years, but EA gave them higher ratings. And I was a little high on Fairley and Melton. And I still think the Rams got a good deal on Fairley there. A good signing for him. But anyways, move on. Let's move to safeties, both free and strong, which is exactly the opposite of how I like my women. So I had Earl Thomas, Eric Weddle, Cam Chancellor all tied for the top spot. EA decided, hey, that's really cool getting those three grouped together, but we're just going to give Cam Chancellor one more than the other two. So actually Earl Thomas got 88, so Cam Chancellor. Anyways, Harrison Smith, fourth. Rashad Jones, they gave him a high rating, but, and as we move down the list, I'm not going to spend too much time on the rest of it. I was one or two off on most of the guys here. So this was a pretty, inaccurate listing, besides for the top, 10. After that, because frees and strongs were mixed together, maybe that had a little bit to do with the wildness. But, I mean, a lot of them, 84s, 83s are a big part of the list, and it's mixed up a little bit. So, move on. Wide receivers. Let's go. Kelvin Johnson, I had as the number one rated wide receiver, and I could have swore they would have kept him up top, but I didn't anticipate Antonio Brown being, boosted so high from his last year and up top. So, good job, EA. He was the best receiver, and you gave him credit. I figured they go with this tall guy again. But other than that, pretty close up top. Wide receiver, I was off by 2 on Antonio, off by 2 on Jordy. I left Steve Smith Sr. off the list. Somebody actually commented on that, on my list there on the left, that Steve Smith was left off it. And, they were right. EA gave him an 84 on Steve Smith. I looked at Steve Smith's advanced numbers last year, and they were terrible. Like, he had a terrible year last year, but for advanced statistics-wise. But, good counting numbers. So, all right, we'll move on. Middle linebackers. Yeah, if you didn't see my middle linebacker video, I'd check it out. I mean, it's crazy the amount of turnover up top, the amount of injuries that happened to that middle linebacker position last year to this year, with Willis and whatnot, and all the guys that had ACLs. But anyways, Luke Kuechly, Wagner, Bowman, we agreed on those top three. So I had Hightower next. I see Hightower isn't on the list because he is not a middle linebacker in the game. EA put him at right outside linebacker, and this is also an issue with Jamie Collins. A little bit further down the list, he's an outside backer too. So other than that, Lawrence Timmons, Carlos Dansby, pretty close on that one. Daryl Smith, going on down. I think I underrated Jared Mayo coming off the ACL, and same with Derek Johnson. EA kept him up higher than I did coming off those problems. Clay Matthews, I think, should be an outside linebacker. That's where his skills are the best. But if Green Bay keeps playing in the middle linebacker spot, it'd probably be a good call by EA, keeping him there. And I did underrate C.J. Mosley pretty badly there in correspondence with where EA put him. And probably EA is right on that, because C.J. Mosley is a good linebacker. And let's move on to running backs. So this kind of goes back to that. C.J. Mosley is a good linebacker, but his production last year didn't really put it out. And so I did my running backs, which was the first one I did of this series. Based on production, I think they'll go next year and how well their production will be or their talent is. And I think this was my worst one of the bunch, running backs. I put Jamal Charles 1. EA had him, what is that, 5th? That's pretty bad. After that, Marshawn Lynch, Adrian Peterson, pretty high there too. But just look up and down the list. I mean, I put rookies in here. No, rookies shouldn't have been in here, with Melvin Gordon and Todd Gurley. I knocked LaShawn McCoy down too far. I thought too much about what they will be doing and not enough about what they did. And I just screwed this up. So, Forte, I got low. Okay, anyways, moving on. Cornerbacks. So, top-rated cornerbacks, pretty easy to point out. Revis, Sherman, Vontae Davis. We agreed there. Just a little bit of disagreement on the order. I thought Sherman would stay number 1 like 15, but EA decided to move to Revis. Move to Revis Island. I can't believe I missed that pun. Anyways, Sean Smith, we both correctly predicted that he would be a high rating this year. Patrick Peterson, same. I don't know. As you go further down the list, I get a little bit more inaccurate because, the ratings are a little close together. But overall, I did okay. I mean, I didn't nail it like I did quarterbacks. So, yeah. But anyways, I think that's the end of the series. I may have done more, but I think I lost those files. But what do you guys think of this series? I don't know if I'll do it again next year. It took a ton of work to do, putting it together, graphics, and researching all this stuff, and I don't know how much value it provided you guys. Was it valuable to see what these guys could be next year? And what I thought they were going to be. It was good for me, to research these guys and see what kind of years they had and really dig into the stats. And I did put a lot of hours into this series, and I was kind of glad when it was over. And this one ended up taking me longer than I wished it would have. But I don't know. Let me know. All right, guys. Thanks for watching this series. 16 is here. I'll see you tomorrow.